if you have somebody running ads telling you over and over again that guns are completely harmless.
You have a right to protect your home with a firearm. But Liberal politician Jason Kander voted against your right.
I mean, it's valuable to know if that's paid for by people who sell guns. And you have to question the motives of folks who would oppose that. You have to figure that probably they're pushing messages that reap to their benefit, that they're going to make money off of those messages working. I think Americans should have the right to know that. The For the People Act requires disclosure of who it is that's paying for these ads, who's paying for the messages. My name is Jason Kander. I'm the former Secretary of State of Missouri, and I'm the founder of Let America Vote. One of the biggest problems in our country and our democracy is the enormous power of billionaires and of corporations. I've often had conversations with people where they'll say, well, who in Missouri politics should I go see about X? And if you're giving them an honest answer, you don't give them an elected official. You give them a wealthy donor, because that often is the person who is really at the beginning of making a lot of those decisions, unfortunately. So when you look at my race for Secretary of State in 2012, where we won, or my race for US Senate in 2016, where we just barely lost, one huge similarity you see is the role of dark money. All of this money coming into the state where you don't know what the actual identity of the donor is. You know what their intention is, but you don't know who they are. You don't know how many of them there are. Dark money is one of the chief reasons why our democracy is in such disrepair at the moment. The reason that this is so important is because if voters can't know who's pushing something, they can't evaluate the agenda or the motive of the people who are pushing it in the first place. And people end up voting in such a way where what they've heard is the thing that had the most money behind it, right? And the thing that had the most money behind it was paid for by people who frankly are trying to screw them over. The Koch brothers are afraid of the For the People Act because it levels the playing field. They've even, behind closed doors, admitted that they don't have any good arguments against this.
The most worrisome part is that conservatives were actually as supportive as the general public was when they read the neutral description.
They have come to the conclusion that they can't win in a fair fight. So they're going to characterize this as it creates an unfair fight. But that's not what it does. What it does is it just gets closer to leveling the playing field so that working people and actual American voters have a voice that is appropriate in the process. But they don't want that, because if that happens, they lose a lot of power. So what we need to do is pass the For the People Act and instead design a system that makes it so that politicians spend more time with regular people instead of the kind of people that regular people never ever get the chance to meet.